Shedeur Sanders is fed up, and for good reason. The Cleveland Browns' decision to keep him buried behind Joe Flacco has gone from questionable strategy to full-blown scandal, and head coach Kevin Stefanski is taking the heat for it. What was supposed to be a developmental year for the rookie has exploded into a national debate about politics, control, and narrative manipulation inside one of the NFL's most volatile franchises. The spark came when Stefanski made it crystal clear that Sanders wasn't even being considered as a backup option. The statement landed like a grenade. Within hours, Cam Newton and Stephen A. Smith were already on air dissecting it, both pointing to what many fans have suspected from the start. This isn't about performance. It's about power. Newton, always outspoken, questioned whether the Browns were managing Sanders instead of developing him. Stephen A. took it further, saying the organization was deliberately suppressing the rookie's rise to keep control of the locker room and the headlines. For Sanders, the optics couldn't be worse. He's not just another late-round pick trying to make a roster. He's a cultural force with a loyal following that rivals established starters. His connection to Deion Sanders gives him instant visibility, and his poise both on and off the field has made him a fan favorite. That level of attention should be an asset, but in Cleveland, it's turned into a threat. The Browns seem desperate to contain the noise, and Stefanski's refusal to elevate Sanders looks less like strategy and more like a move to silence him. Behind the scenes, Sanders isn't hiding his frustration. He said he's ready to start, ready to compete, and ready to prove himself against anyone, even current NFL starters. The confidence is there, the talent is visible, and the public is behind him. But Cleveland's leadership doesn't seem interested in testing his words. Instead, they're doubling down, shielding Joe Flacco as if experience automatically equals competence. Cam Newton called it exactly what it looks like, a control issue. He highlighted how rare it is for a fifth-round rookie to build this much momentum, only to have it snuffed out before he ever takes a meaningful snap. Stephen A. Smith echoed that, pointing to the uncomfortable truth that Sanders' draft position wasn't just about football. It was about perception. The Deion effect, as Smith put it, shadowed his draft process and continues to shape how teams handle him. Now, with the Browns' offense sputtering and their season teetering, fan pressure is turning into something the organization can't ignore. Sanders supporters are growing louder, demanding a fair shot for the rookie, who seems to embody everything the team lacks: confidence, energy, and connection to fan base. Kevin Stefanski's problem is no longer just about depth charts. It's about credibility. Each week that Sanders remains sidelined makes it harder to justify keeping him there. What started as a coaching decision has become a cultural clash between old-school control and new-era visibility. And right now, it's starting to look like
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Shedeur Sanders might win that battle, whether he's allowed on the field or not. Let's talk about what's really happening in Cleveland, because this isn't just a quarterback controversy. It's not just a coaching decision. This is an organizational crisis that's now playing out on a national stage. Kevin Stefanski didn't just name Joe Flacco as the backup quarterback. He didn't just make a football decision. He publicly declared that Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with more fan support than half the league starters, is not even being considered. And from that moment, the situation detonated. That statement was bigger than depth charts. It was a message. We're not entertaining the hype. We're not giving in to the attention. We're controlling the narrative. And now, the backlash is consuming them. Let's be clear. Shedeur Sanders is not just any fifth-round pick. He's a quarterback who's already built one of the most engaged fan bases of any rookie in recent memory. He was drafted 144th overall and still managed to pull headlines, spark national debates, and trigger passionate support. That never happens with third-string rookies. And the Browns? Instead of welcoming that momentum, they slammed the door in his face. It wasn't strategic. It was political. Critics like Cam Newton and Stephen A. Smith didn't hesitate to call it out. Newton questioned why a player with this much visibility was being boxed out. Why a fan favorite with clear potential was being benched behind a veteran who's well past his prime. Stephen A. Smith went further, calling the entire situation a deliberate effort to suppress Sanders' rise and keep the team's hierarchy intact. And the worst part? They're right. This has never been about football alone. It's been about control. Controlling the story, the perception, the spotlight. Because Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand, a voice, a challenge to the traditional system. And the Browns don't know how to handle that. Let's talk about that system. This is the same NFL that preaches competition, but consistently rewards comfort. The same league that claims to be a meritocracy, yet still lets politics and perception determine opportunity. And Shedeur's draft slide to 144 was the first major sign of that. Not because he lacked the skills, but because he brought more noise than the league was ready to handle. He's Deion Sanders' son. He comes with media attention, built-in expectations, and confidence that doesn't fit the quiet rookie mold. So teams passed. They called it a football decision, but the reality was clear. They didn't want to deal with the spotlight. And now the Browns are doing the same thing. Kevin Stefanski's refusal to even consider Shedeur as the backup wasn't a decision based on playbook execution or preseason film. It was about silencing the narrative, about keeping the structure safe, about not letting a fifth-round rookie disrupt the comfort zone. But here's the irony. By trying to avoid distraction, Stefanski created a firestorm. Because when you tell fans, this guy isn't even in the conversation, they don't go away quietly. They get louder. They push harder. And when that guy is someone like Shedeur Sanders, who's already proven he can thrive under pressure, it turns into a movement. Go on any Browns post. Read the comments. Watch the interviews. This isn't just a fan push. It's a fan revolt. People are angry. People see the talent. They know what Shedeur is capable of. And they know when a team is hiding behind excuses. Flacco, at this stage of his career, is a placeholder. That's not disrespect. It's fact. He was brought in to stabilize the room, not to lead it into the future. So when the Browns say Sanders can't even compete for that spot, it raises one obvious question. What are they so afraid of? The answer is simple: losing control of the story. Because once Shedeur gets in, once he throws a few strikes, makes a few plays, shifts the momentum, the whole dynamic changes. He becomes the guy, not by title, but by energy. And that scares them. It's not just about Stefanski. It's about the front office, the scouts, the people who passed on him. If Sanders succeeds, it proves they were all wrong. It exposes the politics. It flips the narrative from he needs time to he should have been starting all along. And they're not ready for that. But Shedeur is. He's not asking to be handed the job. He's asking for the chance. And the Browns aren't just denying that chance. They're doing it publicly, decisively, and unapologetically. That's why this has turned into something bigger than football. It's become symbolic. It's about who gets opportunities in the NFL. It's about how quickly organizations are willing to adapt to rising talent. And it's about the power of fan support to force change, even when leadership resists it. Because make no mistake, change is coming. The fans aren't letting this go. The media isn't dropping the story. And Shedeur, he's not backing down. He's made it clear he's ready. He's confident. He believes he can outperform current starters across the league. And whether you think that's bold or not, he's not wrong for saying it. Every day he sits while the team's offense sputters. The pressure builds. Every play Flacco can't extend, every stall drive, every bad decision, it all comes back to that one quote from Stefanski. He's not being considered. It's already aged poorly, and it's only going to get worse. Because when Shedeur does get his shot, whether it's in Cleveland or somewhere else, he's going to play like someone who's been overlooked. He's going to perform with the hunger of someone who had to wait behind politics. And if he delivers, that quote becomes a scar on this franchise. This isn't just a quarterback controversy anymore. It's a defining moment. If the Browns adapt, if they embrace the movement, if they admit they were wrong and give Sanders a chance he deserves, they might still salvage this. But if they stay stubborn, if they keep silencing, suppressing, and denying, this won't just be a lost season. It'll be a lost opportunity. The kind fans and franchises look back on for years and say, we could have had something special and we blew it. So what do you think? Should the Browns finally open the door for Shedeur Sanders? Is this situation about football, Or is it a textbook case of narrative management gone wrong? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed. Because if this is what happened in Week 1, just wait until the next press conference, the next offensive collapse, the next chance for the fans to say, "We told you so." This story is not ending anytime soon. And when it finally explodes, we'll be here for the whole thing. This isn't just about one franchise making a questionable call. This is about the NFL as a machine that still hasn't figured out what to do when a player doesn't follow the script. And Shedeur Sanders is definitely not following the script. He wasn't supposed to be here. Not like this. Fifth-round picks are supposed to sit quietly, take notes, hold clipboards, and earn their stripes. They're supposed to be grateful just to be in the building. They're not supposed to have fan bases, media buzz, or national analysts begging for them to be given a shot. And when they do, when they come in with confidence, presence, and a narrative that's already too big to contain, the league panics. That's what's happening in Cleveland. A franchise has been starved for a real, lasting quarterback solution, now as one that fans are actually excited about. And they're pretending he doesn't exist. Let's revisit Kevin Stefanski's now infamous quote. He's not being considered. Not, we'll evaluate. Not, he's got potential. Not even a vague, he's still developing. Nope, not being considered. For a quarterback room that includes Joe Flacco, who, let's be honest, is there as an emergency plug, not a long-term option. This isn't just baffling. It's disrespectful to the fan base. It's dismissive of talent. It's transparently political. And that's why the narrative is turning so fast. Because fans are done being patient with decision-makers who seem more focused on silencing energy than embracing it. Let's talk about the threat of Shedeur Sanders. No, not on the field. Off it. His biggest threat to the Browns isn't his arm. It's his influence, his following, his ability to shift attention just by showing up. The same qualities that make him marketable, exciting, and unique are the same ones the Browns are trying to contain. They're not afraid of a bad throw. They're afraid of a good one. Because one good game, one breakout performance, and the whole system collapses. The veterans lose their grip. The coaching staff has to answer questions they've worked hard to avoid. And worst of all, the fans get louder. This is no longer just about football. It's about control. And Shedeur, whether intentionally or not, is challenging that. He's already proven he can handle pressure. He did it at Colorado. He did it with every camera in his face. He did it while carrying expectations, social media hype, and the last name Sanders across his back every Saturday. Now, he's just asking for a shot to prove he can do the same in Cleveland. And the Browns are saying no. Not because they don't see the talent, but because they're afraid of what happens if he's actually as good as people say. Because if he is, that changes everything. Let's talk about what's at stake. This isn't just a rookie QB being held back. This is an entire franchise risking its credibility. If Shedeur gets that chance and delivers, either in Cleveland or elsewhere, it'll permanently stain the Browns' reputation as a team that chose control over progress. The receipts are piling up. Every clip of Stefanski dismissing him. Every game where Flacco underperforms. Every fan post begging for Sanders to be activated. It's all out there. And if this story ends with Shedeur blowing up somewhere else, all of that becomes fuel. The Browns won't just be wrong. They'll be exposed. And let's talk about the ripple effect. Because this doesn't just affect the Browns. It affects how other teams view rookies. It affects how media and fans hold franchises accountable. It affects how young players advocate for themselves moving forward. Shedeur is, knowingly or not, at the center of something much bigger. He's become the latest example of how the league still struggles with individuality, still punishes confidence, still rewards silence. And fans are seeing it, clear as day. They're watching a QB with national support, proven poise, and sky-high potential get told, "You're not part of the plan." They're watching a team choose a veteran safety net over a rookie spark. They're watching the system cling to its structure, even as the foundation crumbles. And the fans aren't accepting it. They've made it loud and clear they're not going away. Every Browns-related tweet is flooded with "Start Shedeur." Every sports show clip on Cleveland is met with side eyes and quote tweets. Every Flacco snap is viewed through a magnifying glass. This isn't going to quiet down. It's only going to get louder. And eventually, the Browns are going to break. They'll either give Shedeur the opportunity he's earned, or lose him completely. If they give in and he plays well, Stefanski will have it eat every word. If they wait too long and he leaves, they become the franchise that let potential greatness walk out the door because they couldn't handle a quarterback with a little too much shine. And when Shedeur inevitably proves himself, the headlines write themselves. Shedeur Sanders was right. The Browns were wrong. Cleveland missed again. How many talents will the Browns waste? That's the weight of this situation. Because Shedeur's confidence isn't the problem. It's the solution. It's the exact energy this franchise has needed for years. A young leader with fire, with composure, with something to prove. But instead of building around that, they're benching it. Instead of leaning into the buzz, they're trying to mute it. Instead of acknowledging they might have gotten lucky in the 5th round, they're acting like he's a problem to manage instead of a player to develop. And it's a mistake they can't afford to keep making. Because the NFL doesn't wait. Opportunities don't last. And fans don't forget. Every day Shedeur sits behind Flacco, behind Stefanski's stubborn game plan, is a day closer to a breaking point. And when that point hits, when the fans snap, when the media swarms, when the locker room starts asking the same questions everyone else is, this will no longer be something the Browns can manage with PR spin. They'll have to act. The only question left is, will they do it on their own terms or after the damage is already done? So here's where we are. A rookie quarterback with superstar potential. A coaching staff that's playing it safe. A fan base that's fed up. And a team that's running out of time to get it right. This is one of the most blatant mishandlings of rookie momentum we've seen in years. The Cleveland Browns had a lightning in a bottle moment franchises dream of. A 5th-round pick, carrying a fan base, a media presence, a clear confidence in his abilities. And they decided to bury him. Not bench him. Bury him. Let's talk about what that actually means. 3rd-string quarterback? Fine. Lots of rookies. Start there. But when you explicitly say, publicly to the world, he's not being considered, that's not football talk. That's damage control. That's narrative suppression. That's a front office trying to keep the media from blowing up a story that was already too big for them to handle. Except here's the twist. It's not working. The story blew up anyway. And now they're backed into a corner with no clean way out. Let's call it what it is. The Browns miscalculated. They thought keeping Shedeur Sanders quiet would keep things stable. They thought they could weather the media storm by sticking to their plan. But they underestimated 2 things. Shedeur's influence, the fans' outrage. This isn't some novelty buzz around a player with a famous last name. This is real grassroots support. Fans aren't asking for him to be handed the keys because of hype. They're demanding that he be allowed to compete. That's it. Just a chance. A rep, a drive, something. But instead, they're watching Joe Flacco, who, let's be honest, is not exactly lighting the league on fire, take up space because he's a safe option, because he doesn't challenge the hierarchy, because he won't disrupt the status quo. And Shedeur, he is a disruption. That's the point. That's why this entire thing is spiraling. Because Sanders represents a shift the Browns don't seem ready to make. A young QB with massive visibility, confidence, and talent? That's usually a gift. But for the Browns, it feels like they see it as a liability. Something to control, not cultivate. And now they're watching that decision backfire in real time. Every press conference, every tweet, every fan interaction, all of it is being drowned out by one question. Where's Shedeur? And that pressure isn't going away. Not when Cam Newton's calling it out. Not when Stephen A. Smith is saying the franchise is suppressing him. Not when Sanders himself is publicly expressing frustration and declaring that he's ready to start and outperform players already on the field. This man isn't sitting in the corner of the room waiting for someone to notice him. He's banging on the door, and that door is about to fall off its hinges. The longer the Browns hold him back, the worse this looks. Because now it's not just a developmental delay. It's a referendum on how this team treats talent, how it handles pressure, and how it makes decisions under the spotlight. Let's say it plainly. If Shedeur Sanders succeeds anywhere else, this becomes one of the most embarrassing self-inflicted disasters in Browns history. And yes, we know that bar is already high. But this is different. This isn't missing a draft pick. This isn't a coaching misfire. This is watching a rising star inside your building, letting him rot on the depth chart, and pretending it's business as usual. Spoiler, it's not. We've hit the point where this controversy is no longer hypothetical. The fan base is already turning. The media is circling. And even other players are weighing in. This isn't a small, contained issue. It's a franchise-altering storyline. Because Shedeur isn't just a player. He's a symbol of change, of youth, of energy, of the modern NFL. He's what teams should be looking for. Someone who can play, and someone who can lead a culture shift. But instead of leaning in, the Browns are pretending he's not in the room. It's cowardly, and it's going to cost them at some point, and it might come sooner than anyone expects. This pressure will explode. Maybe it'll be another lackluster game from Flacco. Maybe it'll be more national heat on Stefanski. Maybe Shedeur will speak out again, and fans will go nuclear. But when it happens, the Browns won't look calculated. They'll look cornered, because they didn't make a bold choice. They made a scared one. And the worst part? Everyone sees it. Fans aren't dumb. They know what this is. They know a coach holding on to control. They know when a rookie is being iced out. And they know when a front office is more focused on optics than outcomes. If this situation ends with Shedeur getting a shot and thriving, the Browns will have no victory lap. No, we developed him the right way spin. It'll be, why did it take this long? And if he doesn't get that shot in Cleveland, if they let him walk, trade him, release him, it's over. Not just for the player, but for the reputation of every decision-maker involved. So here's the bottom line. The Browns are sitting on a gold mine, and instead of digging in, they're putting up fences. And the clock is ticking. Let us know where you stand. Is Shedeur being unfairly benched? Is this about football or narrative control? Would you start him today if you were the coach? Drop your take in the comments and subscribe for more drama breakdowns. Because this saga, it's only getting hotter. And when that locker room finally hits a boiling point, we'll be right here to break it all down.